I was really, really impressed with one of the linebackers that you guys spoke to this weekend, and that is Gavin Nicks. He's a 4-star, I believe, in the On3 rankings, but this guy is buttoned up, detail sound. He's very impressive. He feels like a great culture fit for Florida State. Like he values what Mike Norvell values. What did you learn about Gavin? And this is a personal question for me. Where does Florida State stand with that particular prospect?
Yeah. I mean, he's the first guy I've actually heard publicly that would come out there in interviews and talk about stability of what the stability was in FSU's staff, and really highlighted Mike Norvell turning down Alabama to stay at FSU. Really said that was big for him, and so I think that stuff's important. And outside of football, with the academics and the culture fit, and development. Every kid wants to get developed, but I think he's a kid that believes in he wants to see stability overall, not just okay, your staff's there for a while, but stability of what trajectory are you going at, what level are you going at. And he talked a lot about the trajectory of FSU, and that really stood out to me. I certainly feel like out of the three schools which we hear the most about, Miami, FSU, and Florida, you feel like the trajectory is best with FSU. So they're certainly going to be really high on his list. It's still early. He hadn't really named a favorite, but if you go by kind of the things that he highlighted, I would think that FSU, feels good about, kind of where they sit, I guess, going into that, late spring and summer.
Lee wants to know about those linebackers. He really appreciated your the piece on warchant.com about that particular position. To what do you attribute the increase in linebacker recruiting and the traction Florida State has? What do you think?
Yeah, I told you this, guys, when I did the hot board for defensive tackle and linebacker. It was a lot different than what I did a year ago. I was really struggling a year ago to okay, which guys am I going to put in here to make this, kind of look good or whatnot. But I think a lot of it is production of what they've done on the field, development. I think kids see the opportunity to play there. They know two of their starters are gone. Lundy's a great piece to have back, so that was big news for FSU getting him back. But kids also know that there's a great opportunity to play there, and they also know when you get there, they've seen the development of these two guys, whether Kalen DeLoach and Tatum Bethune. So I think that's really attracted a lot of guys, and I know a lot of people. He gets a lot of hatred overall just on the recruiting part, but Randy Shannon's a guy that is very liked as far as recruits, of the connection personally, and then two, his knowledge of the position. Like, they're very high on that. Whether it does irritate me at times that there hasn't been top tier guys all the time, but overall, from his development standpoint, a lot of recruits have him in a very high mark as far as what he does with linebackers. So that's an attraction. But now we got to see if they can get some more of those guys. Got Ethan Pritchard. You'd like to get few more guys that are top tier guys, and certainly the last 2 weekends they've hit on a lot of guys that have been on campus. So with the list you saw on the hot board, I'll probably have even more added to that list, because there's such an attraction of kids wanting to be in that linebacker room because of just what they've seen production wise. And I don't think, and there's no slight on Randy, I just think Randy is a certain guy where he's going to set you what there is, what it is, what they're going to do. He's not this guy I think is going to be in a crazy pitch guy, where there's certain guys that have that electricity to him, like Patrick Surtain, Alex Atkins. That's just, I mean, Randy is a different way of how he recruits.
Darnell also, will Cam Riley be a Nole, and when? Straight to the point. What do you think, Michael?
Straightforward. I think it was a solid visit. I talked to Cam. Matt talked to him before I did. Matt did a really good story, really good piece. Matt really crushed it just on the share, and everything in intel suggests to me that I think FSU has done the best job as far as on the visits. He also visited NC State, so he mentioned NC State, Florida State. I think FSU seems to covet him. So I'm not going to sit there and say win or hey, if they're definitely going to get him. I think they're in probably good position, but at the same time, um, he's not Darnell. He's not a early guy. So I mean, he's a May guy. So there's no rush. He can go back home, decipher these visits, see what one, make sure that what he's feeling is what he's feeling, and then maybe make a decision. But there's really not a rush for him to make a decision. But everything coming out of the visit, sounded pretty fairly positive what I had.